Hi, I'm Christie,
And I'm Tina.
and we're here to talk to you about chocolate.
People should be aware about chocolate and what kind of an impact people are making to the earth.
Everybody all around the world eats chocolate, but not everyone is involved in the process of making it. To make chocolate, one of the main resources that people need is cocoa.
Lots of people in the world need it because you could make chocolate out of cocoa and lots of people are willing to pay for it.
Problem is, people buy it for very low prices, and that is a problem for the producers. We think it's a bit unfair for the producers of chocolate because sometimes it doesn't really cost lots of money. So the workers wouldn't have enough to pay for what they need.
Most cocoa beans are from Ivory Coast. Cocoa beans are extracted from the trees by the farmers that live there. In the production of cocoa beans, most cocoa beans are put into factories and made into chocolate. The production reached a record of 1.48 million of cocoa beans last year.
In the process of distribution, lots of people would buy the product chocolate. The farmers who produce cocoa beans don't earn as much money to buy what they need. When people consume chocolate, the wrappers are also disposed and put into landfills.
Also, when people don't finish chocolate, they would be disposed and land in the hands of people who don't have that much money.
Did you know that Ivory Coast reached a record of 1.48 million tons? Like we said earlier, producers don't get that much money out of selling the chocolate.
Farmers receive only 40% of the price of cocoa beans, but the government wants to see the percentage of share to about 60%. Cocoa grows in forests that are warm and wet, often rainforests.
When cocoa trees are cut down, animals in the food chain will have their habitat destroyed and will have to move away to find another one, after beans are shipped to factories in different parts of the world.
People ship the chocolate from one place to another. They use oil for this ship, and the smoke will be released and will pollute our environment. That will affect the birds that fly in the air and animals in the sea.
For example, if the trees were cut down, then the goat would have nothing to eat, so it would move away or die, and the food chain would be destroyed.
People use child labor to make chocolate. We can stop that by getting more adults to work on the farms. It's not good for children to work on plantations for cocoa beans because
1. They work in bad environments, and 2. They need to be educated. If you buy fair trade chocolate, children will not have to work. They could also go to school instead. Also, we could stop child labor by making the age level about 18 and over.
the nations could cooperate and raise the prices so that the farmers could earn more money to buy what they need. Also, our community could get people to volunteer harvesting cocoa beans instead of using child labor.
We could also keep using the same cocoa farms instead of cutting down forests to plant more cocoa beans. When shipping, we could use a lot of oil that could end up in the clean ocean. We could probably stop by making less transportation for the ships. That could reduce the oil in the ocean.
The smoke coming from the factories and ships would pollute the air. We could reduce that impact by using less electricity. Trees and rainforests have been cut down for paper to write on.
We could stop that by getting more paper and not using too much of it, saving paper. We use a lot of oil when shipping chocolate from one place to another. One way you could fix it is putting factories in the right place, so
1. It doesn't use too much oil, and 2. It doesn't have to travel so far. There is also smoke that pollutes the air from ships and factories. We could reduce the impact by using solar panels instead of electricity because solar panels get their energy from the sun.
Trees and rainforests are being cut down to make paper. That affects our ecosystem and also the animals because it's their home. A modification we could do to reduce the impact is not to cut down so many trees and to only cut down what we need and not too much of it. Also, plant more trees.
For child labor, boys at the ages of 12 to 16 are doing child labor. Did you know that the estimation of children that are forced to work on a farm is as high as 15,000 in Canada?
Also, lots of people export so much chocolate to different places. Did you know that Ivory Coast, a child labor coalition, exports 43% of cocoa beans used to make the world's chocolate?
We personally think that we could reduce the amount of child labor by sometimes our adults are a bit lazy to do it. That's why it would help if they could also do it instead of using child labor. If you buy fair trade chocolate, it is a little more expensive than other types of chocolate, but they still don't use child labor.
It can make a big impact on Earth, not only about the wrappers filling landfills, but also the chocolate itself. Like when you cut down trees, ecosystems start to collapse. We will be destroying children's futures, and shipping chocolate pollutes our environment.
The system of the supply chain is complicated because over 90% of all beans come from about 3 million small farming places. We think it could be a little difficult to keep shipping and sending chocolate from one place to another because it might waste oil and or fuel, and it will take lots of time to ship the chocolate.
Businesses or companies can sustain their economic development by not cutting down our trees and damaging Earth. They could reuse their cocoa farms, like we said before. Even if people do cut down trees, maybe we shouldn't cut so much so we have lots of trees.
These are our information sources. These are our photo sources. Thanks for watching!